Hi, you guys. It's Yaz, and today I'm going to talk about how are you going to know that that narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse. And one thing that you have to realize is that at some point in a narcissist's life, they will definitely have a narcissistic collapse, okay? Because narcissists, when they don't get their way or things are not going well for them, they're going to start to collapse. So I'm going to talk about the signs of when you're going to see that narcissistic collapse, how you're going to know that that narcissist is collapsing. Generally, the narcissist is going to do one of two things when a narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse. The first thing that the narcissist will do is they'll get very quiet, okay? All of a sudden, the narcissist is quiet, they're not talking, and they may even act depressed, okay? But they don't tell you what's going on in their minds because they don't want to let you know. This could be the covert narcissist. The covert narcissist generally doesn't want to let you know, so they hold everything inside, everything inside. Generally, covert narcissists are not ones to explode, okay? Unless they are pushed to the limit, unless their back is against the wall, and unless they could be having a narcissistic collapse. When a covert narcissist has a narcissistic collapse, they can go very, very silent, and then they could just rage out from nowhere. And you're like, where is this coming from? Okay, where is this coming from? Because a covert narcissist acts like a smoking gun, okay? They hold all that anger, all that rage inside. They show their rage by doing things like the silent treatment or dismissing you or sarcastic remarks. But when they are pushed to the limit, they could snap, all right? They could snap. And if they're a covert malignant narcissist, they could be very, very dangerous because they could come after you and you wouldn't even see it. You didn't even know that they were raging underneath, okay? But when they start to get quiet and, they're sullen, and they're brooding, okay, that's another sign a narcissist could be having a narcissistic collapse. They could be brooding, all right? You may see them, they're quiet, they look like they're brooding, and you may say, what's wrong? You don't seem right or something. And what do? They gaslight you. I went through this in my marriage all the time where I used to ask, what's going on? Is something bothering you? And I used to hear all the time, no, nothing's bothering me. No, right? So they don't want you to know, all right? That's generally with a covert narcissist. Now, the other thing that a narcissist could do, how you're going to know they're having a narcissistic collapse, and this could be your overt or grandiose or malignant narcissist, they're going to rage out on you, man. They're going to rage out on you like you have never been raged out on, okay? They are going to explode on you. They're going to explode to the point where their eyes open up and their eyes turn black and you feel like you're dealing with the devil themselves, okay? They become outright scary. All right. They're not just a person that gets angry. See, there's a difference between somebody who gets angry and then, let's say, a narcissistic rage. A narcissistic rage is very scary and very threatening. Okay. Because you feel like these people are looking at you like they want to kill you. All right. There's so much anger and rage. And this is why we say they're demonic as well. All right. They're not like a normal person that's just an angry person. It's like almost like they really want to kill you. All right. So they start raging out. And when they start raging out, you could trust and believe that they are having a narcissistic collapse, all right? Something's not going right for that narcissist. And it's not necessarily maybe that you did something wrong. They could be having a problem in their work. They could be having a problem with someone else. They could be having a problem with another supply, but they got to take it out on somebody. And they're going to rage out on you, all right? What's another sign that the narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse, or how you're going to know they're having a narcissistic collapse? They're going to go on a binge with their addictions, all right? What does that mean? That means when a narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse, this is how you're going to know. They're going to run, let's say they like to drink. They're going to be drinking a lot. Let's say they like to do drugs. They're going to be doing a lot of drugs. Let's say they're feeling really down and they're all about being a narcissist who's promiscuous. They're going to be having sex with everybody. So they're going to be drinking, drugging, and looking to have sex to try to feel better, okay? They want to numb out those feelings of rage and anger because they're having a narcissistic collapse. So they're going to run to their addictions. They may have an addiction of gambling. They may be going to the casino all the time because, that gives them some kind of relief of their anxiety. All of these things, their addictions, relieve their anxiety. So they'll drink, they'll drug, they'll pill pop, they'll have a lot of sex, they'll gamble, all right? They're going to binge out on their addictions because they're collapsing and they want to try to make themselves feel better, all right? So you may, see the narcissist and they're drunk all the time, okay? They're drunk all the time. That narcissist is probably having a narcissistic collapse and they're trying to numb out those feelings, all right? Because when they're having a narcissistic collapse, they feel like they're losing control. Their anxiety is at an all-time high. And so they're going to do everything they can to get rid of that anxiety. So drinking, drugging, sex makes them feel better, gambling, and raging out at people, getting all of that anxious anxiety out and taking it out on someone else. This makes the narcissist feel better. And they're going to try to do that when they're having a narcissistic collapse. Try to get all that anxiety out because they do feel like they're losing control. And they're going to look to take it out on who's ever around. All right. The other thing, the way you're going to know that they're having a narcissistic collapse is a lot of times narcissists will over-explain things. Here's the word salad. Let's say that you confront the narcissist about something. You pretty much have the facts, you have the goods on them, and you're exposing them for something that they did wrong, okay? What does that narcissist do when they're collapsing? They're going to over-explain everything. And why do they do that? To confuse you, all right? Because now they're being called out on the truth and they're panicking. They're having a narcissistic collapse. So they're going to over-explain things to try to gaslight you, confuse you, and create a cognitive dissonance in your mind where you're confused and you don't know what's truth and what isn't truth, because that narcissist is having a collapse and they're trying to relieve that collapse by trying to change your mind about something, all right? So they're going to constantly over-explain something to the point of ridiculousness, okay? What's the other thing that a narcissist, or how you're going to know they're collapsing? They're going to run to other people for support. See, narcissists, they don't work alone. They need their enablers. They always need their enablers. A narcissist is nothing without their enablers, okay? They're very weak, cowardly people. So they always need somebody in their corner to back them, all right? So they're going to be running to everybody to get them to support them, to validate them, to gang them up, gang stalk against you, all right? They'll be running smear campaigns on you because they're so angry. They're having a narcissistic collapse and they want to hurt you, all right? They want to hurt you, so they're going to run to everybody else, smear you, tell them that you're the monster, you're the narcissist. They're going to play the victim, all right? They're collapsing. The narcissist is collapsing because maybe you're starting to see through them, or maybe they're living in fear, thinking that you're going to expose them, all right? Now, before I move on, I just want to let you guys know about my book on Amazon called Regain Your Power. You could check it out at tinyurl.com/regain your power. It's a short little book that I did a while back that I wanted to make you guys aware of. It tells you how to regain your power in relationships and all different types of relationships in your life, how to actually, what you need to do to regain your power. So check it out at tinyurl.com slash slash regain your power. Okay. I'll leave the link in the bio. All right. In the description. Okay. Moving on again. All right. Signs the narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse. All right. Oh, this is a big one. All right. This is a big one that the narcissist is starting to collapse. They are going to say things below the belt. All right. This is how you know you're dealing with a narcissist, because they don't just fight. They fight dirty. All right. And they're wicked about it. So when they start to say things like, they bring up your children, they bring up your family, they bring up things that you're very sensitive about. Maybe you're sensitive about your weight. Maybe you're sensitive about your age. Maybe you were vulnerable with this narcissist and you opened up to them about your vulnerabilities, and they, of course, pretended to be empathetic, show you that fake, humbleness and humility and all of that, how they cared and everything. Well, now, guess what? The narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse, and they're going to use whatever you said to them against you to throw you a jab. So they're going to say something really, really dirty, like, oh, I feel sorry for your kids, or, your parents are this or that. They're going to bring in other people that maybe you care about, and they're doing it to hurt you and to get a rise out of you, because they themselves are suffering and they want to make you suffer, because they're going to blame you for their narcissistic collapse. So when that narcissist starts throwing out really nasty things, all right, really personal things at you, they're hitting below the belt, bringing up your kids or bringing up your family or bringing up something maybe you're really, really sensitive about, you know that pretty much that narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse, and they're trying to strike at you. They're trying to give it to you. They're trying to hurt you, all right? Because maybe you caused a narcissistic injury to cause them to have that narcissistic collapse, and maybe you didn't, and they're just looking for a punching bag to take out all their aggravation on, and you're there, okay? The person that's there is going to get the brunt of the narcissist collapse. That's why I'm telling you, when you start to see that narcissist collapsing, they're getting irritable, they're getting angry, you want to make feet and get out of there, okay? You don't want to be around for a narcissistic collapse, because that narcissist is going to make somebody pay for that, all right? Even if you're not responsible for that narcissistic collapse. It could be their boss that they're angry at, but they're having a narcissistic collapse. They're coming home and they're looking to take it out on somebody. It's time for you to exit out, okay? Exit out, because you don't want the brunt of that, because they may start raging out on you and going berserk. They may start breaking things, okay? If they're a malignant narcissist, they could put their hands on you, all right? So these are the things they could do. This is how you're going to know that the narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse, all right? They're going to be looking to take their anger out on whoever is there at the moment when they have that collapse, all right? Because they've got to get it out. That's why a lot of times they'll have a big fight with you, all right? And then they'll just fall asleep, and you're like, how the hell can they just fall asleep like nothing ever happened here? And then the next morning they wake up and they act like nothing happened, all right? Because what they did is they got out all that anger, that rage inside them the night before. They're not thinking about how it affected you. They don't care how it affected you. What they care about is feeling better. All right. Getting that's all anxiety, you guys. They're getting all that anxiety out. You have to understand something. Narcissists are anxious people. They are people who are filled with anxiety, and they will get to a boiling point where they've got to get that anxiety out. And like I said, if you are dealing with a malignant narcissist, a dangerous narcissist like that, or an overt narcissist or something like that, they are going to rage the hell out at you, all right? And you're going to be like, it's like something you've never seen before, all right? It's actually very, very frightening. It could be very, very frightening because they're out of control. They're actually becoming a demon, all right? They're raging out at you. They're screaming at you. They're, breaking things. It's very, very frightening. I've seen malignant narcissists go into a narcissistic collapse, and it is one of the most scary things. And when they do, you have to be completely silent. All right. Because if you say anything, it could end up bad. All right. It could end up deadly. All right. When they're having a narcissistic collapse, it could actually end up deadly for you. That's why when you're around a malignant narcissist, you have to be silent. You have to be silent as to not trigger them. And you have to get out of there in silence. I mentioned this in my other podcasts about when you leave a dangerous narcissist, you have to leave in silence. And of course, that got copied. Okay. All right. I'm not going to even get into that. But, a lot of what I've said in my other podcasts that were personal things that I went through, all right, got copied. All right. So, yeah, when you're dealing with a malignant narcissist who's very dangerous, you want to leave in silence. All right. You don't want to trigger them because they may put your head through a wall. They could kill you. All right. This happens all the time. We see this on murder mysteries or crime stories like Dateline and 48 Hours. All right. That narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse. It's like when somebody goes to the narcissist, let's say it's a malignant narcissist, and they say, I don't want to be married to you. If you're dealing with a dangerous narcissist, which is either a malignant narcissist or a covert malignant narcissist, it could be a very dangerous thing when you're getting a divorce from that type of narcissist. Because not only do they want to torture you, it could end up deadly. And it does in a lot of cases where people are found, dead, the next day or soon after they tell that narcissist that they want to leave them. That narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse. They're losing control. They're losing control of you. These are narcissists that need a lot of control. And when they feel that you're walking away, maybe walking away with kids yet, their kids, you're gonna see that narcissist collapsing. You'll see it also in family and Supreme Court. Ooh, did I see it when I was over in the courts for 3 years, all right? When they used to come out slamming doors, okay? Whoo, there was a lot of action, you guys, like in Supreme Court, when they were coming out, that those narcissists were having narcissistic collapses, all right? That's where you need like a court, officer near you. Okay. You actually need a court officer near you when this shit is going down. Okay. Especially in court. All right. Because the narcissist is having a narcissistic collapse. They may be being told by the judge that, they can't see their kids no more. There's restraining orders in place. All of these things, that narcissist could be having a narcissistic collapse because you're going to see the rage in their eyes, all right? The rage, those black eyes, the rage in their eyes. They got eyes, they look at you like they want to kill you, okay? You will feel it. When people say, how are you going to know they're having a narcissistic collapse? Well, you're going to see the narcissistic rage and then you're going to see the collapse, all right? So they're going to rage out and then they're going to collapse and they're going to become quiet and sullen, all right, because they feel defeated in some cases. Sometimes they feel defeated because they may have been exposed or boundaries or restrictions have been put on them. So they will rage, they will collapse, and then they'll get quiet, all right? So that's how it usually goes. But in general, I'm talking about the extreme here. In general, how are you going to know they're having a narcissistic collapse? They're going to be extremely irritable. They're going to be picking on everything, absolutely everything. This is the culmination. This is how it starts. They'll be picking on everything, little things, right? Like, why did you leave that coffee cup in the sink? Or why this? They nitpick and they will pick on everything relentlessly because they're agitated, they're anxious, and they're about to have a narcissistic collapse. Okay? So these are all the ways you're going to know that narcissist is about to have a narcissistic collapse. I hope that helps you. If it does, please hit the subscribe button. Please share the podcast and the video. If you are looking for confidential one-on-one phone coaching, check out the link in the bio at askyaz.wixsite.com/thegameexposed. I've limited time because I'm writing a lot, you guys. So you have to book ahead. Also, check out my YouTube at the Game Exposed Podcast. Over 7,500 videos. I can't even believe I have done 7,500 narcissism videos almost. Okay. There's a lot of information on my YouTube at the Game Exposed Podcast. I talk about covert narcissists, the discard, malignant narcissists, the manipulation tactics, the silent treatment, the guilt tripping, weaponized incompetence. It's all on my YouTube at the Game Exposed Podcast. Also, check out my TikTok at the Game Exposed and Facebook and Instagram at the Game EXP123. And have a great day, you guys.